Alright, so here we got my buddy. Man, I don't even like using that term, buddy. But my rugby mate Lewis picking up the 255 stone. So we're going to kind of analyze it so we go over some of his movements. And I'll play it once just to go through. And I'm using this coach's eye. I got it, an app. Mark Bell uses it. I like it. And we're going to go through a couple things. Lewis, the 255. Place. Squeeze. Yep. Good. So you see the loading right there is pretty solid. So we're going to go ahead and just go back to the beginning and just nitpick at a couple things just so we can teach everybody else. Lewis has a lot of raw strength. So one of the things that we see here, and it's pretty good, I just like to always point it out, his feet are a little behind the stone. I always like him to be equal with the hands. What that's going to cause, is you're going to see, is that it's going to cause his hips to go a little higher than his shoulders, right there. See that line? Now when you do stones, you're going to notice that a lot of times your hips are going to fly up. They are definitely going to go up. They're going to go up this way. Look at that, pointing right at his butt. But they're going to normally tend to go up that way to make room for the stone. So what happens is that since the stone is such a large beast and it's all up in here, you have to make room for it. And what happens is that you tend to get your booty up in the air. So it's not a bad base. Now one thing we see here is that his hands are a little past the center of the stone. The center of the stone is about right there. What that's going to cause, as you're going to see, is the stone to kind of, you see how the stone kind of fumbles there? So what that's happening is that, although it's not a big deal, when you're looking at a max effort or a max stone lift, you kind of just gas yourself right there. This isn't a max lift for Lewis. Lewis can go a lot heavier, in my opinion. But that right there is because he grabbed the stone a little high. See? So finally he kind of adjusts his hands after that, and he's forced to kind of stop the stone. See? So we're going to go back. He's kind of readjusting. It's not the worst thing in the world, but he's kind of wasting energy. So finally he kind of gets his hands better. You can tell that time I left a circle. Much better on the stone. He gets a great squeeze. You can see what's happening right there is that he's squeezing the stone. He's squeezing the stone super hard. All this area here, his back, low back, hams, his calves, his mustache that you can't see, even his nipples right here are all tight, real tight. So you're going to go ahead and just explode off the ground. Great lift right there. Makes room. One thing we see here, and I see it a lot, especially at the battle axe, because we have the kind of this platform right here, is people are kind of worried to slam their head. It's kind of difficult to do it because your body is going in this kind of direction over this way. So it's hard because your head's going that way. It's going to be difficult for you to slam your head on that. So that happens here is that because he's worried about that movement and getting his head slammed, he kind of takes a step back. You see it? Luckily, this motherfucker's strong enough to kind of catch the stone. So he does a great lift, and then he kind of fumbles it there by almost, not hitting his head, but recovers rather quickly by sinking back. Right there, recovers it quickly. Boom. You see that little movement right there? His hands are going to go from here to over here where he's going to hug that stone and base it. Boom. This position here, all the weight is right there. So your hips can be way off the screen over that way. Your butt's basically in Mississippi there, and you can sink low. This position right here is solid. You can rest in a sense. Obviously you can't be here for it's too much time under tension. But in this position you can readjust your hands, which is exactly what he does right around there. You can see him making space for the stone, kind of jiggling and wiggling. And he's getting in there. That was funny. But he's actually getting a good squeeze on that stone. Now he's got really long arms, which is extremely beneficial in this kind of movement. Right there. Great effort. See what he's doing? He's exploding with the hips. He's pushing that way. Strongman is about hips, 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 hips. It's constantly hip movement. He's going to roll the stone up, up, up. You see he's pushing off the ground. You're going to get that pushing motion. That way that the stone is traveling in this direction. Now he's a little far back from the platform because he took that step back because of almost hitting his head, which is something we discussed a second ago. But he's making up for it by kind of pushing forward in that motion. He's rolling the stone to his face. You gotta roll it to your face, like you're gonna go ahead and just pretty much pick it up on towards your face to get it high above the platform. So we see here, rolls, pushes, good position. He has to take this step forward. This step forward, he has to take it because he was so far back. This is something that is not ideal because when you're actually getting a crazy heavy stone, you don't want to lose your base. But really, to move heavy shit, you gotta have to take awkward steps sometimes. So I don't want to take anything away from that lift, and just take away his credit. So he takes that step right there. He's pretty much just carrying the motherfucker. But because he had exploded forward, the stone is basically moving this way. The explosion from his hips is taking a lot of the effort away. And you're gonna see he just basically just goes ahead and just lays it on there and slams it for the day. Um, so that's basically what we see there. It was a great lift. I liked it. I thought it was great. It was good effort. What we can see here when he turns around is we're gonna see a great stash. I love it. And you see a happy face on his face right there. Boom. And I'm pretty sure that his weenus is happy right there. I think it's great. I think honestly it's tough. It's hard. Okay. So weird. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna keep making kind of these videos and just adjusting different situations. But I really enjoyed watching this lift. It was great. 255, and we'll keep it coming here at the Battle Axe. Thanks.